The billionaire slammed his glass and laughed at the waitress. She didn't flinch. She kicked him out. 5 hours later, a helicopter landed outside. His father stepped out and asked to see the waitress. The cafe was quiet. Just after the lunch rush, Emma, the head waitress, wiped down a table with practiced ease. She'd worked here for 3 years, same shift, same tired regulars, same burned coffee smell. But it paid the rent. It helped her support her little brother after their parents passed. She wasn't rich, but she was proud of her work. That afternoon, the door swung open, and 2 men walked in like they owned the place. Loud. Flashy watches. Designer suits. One of them, early 30s, smooth haircut, wore his arrogance like cologne. Emma didn't recognize him, but he acted like he expected the world to recognize him. He snapped his fingers at her. "Hey sweetheart, get us 2 cappuccinos. Extra hot. And smile, yeah?" Emma didn't smile. She walked over with the notepad. "Welcome. What would you like to order?" He smirked. "Already told you. Try listening next time. Or is that hard with a pretty face like yours?" The second guy chuckled under his breath. Emma stared at him. "Sir, I'll be happy to serve you when you treat me with respect." That shut him up briefly. But not for long. 15 minutes in, he was unbearable. Complaining about the coffee. Making crude jokes loud enough for the whole cafe to hear. When Emma served their pastries, he pretended to brush her hand and said, "Careful, honey. You touch me again, I might fall in love." Emma took a deep breath. She looked at the owner, Mr. Harold, an old man reading a newspaper in the corner. He didn't intervene. Probably didn't hear, or didn't want to deal with it. Then the billionaire made the mistake of grabbing Emma's wrist. Not hard. But enough. Enough to cross the line. Emma yanked her arm back. "That's it. You're done. You're leaving." He laughed. "Do you even know who I am?" She walked to the counter, pressed the security button, and calmly picked up the phone. "You've got 5 minutes before I call the cops." Everyone in the cafe had stopped eating. Silence hung in the air. The billionaire stood stunned. Then he said something no one expected. "You're gonna regret this. My father owns half this city." Emma didn't blink. "Then tell him his son just got kicked out by a waitress." Outside, he stood fuming on the sidewalk. Called someone? Pacing. Furious. His friend begged him to just let it go. "Bro, she's just some waitress." "No. No one embarrasses me like that." Back inside, the air slowly returned to normal. Emma tried to smile as she served the next table, but her hands shook. A teenage girl whispered, "You were amazing." Emma nodded, but she didn't feel amazing. She felt exposed. Angry. Tired. An hour later, her manager, Mr. Harold, finally walked up. "Emma, what happened earlier?" "I handled it, sir." He sighed. "Next time, maybe just ignore it." Emma blinked. "Ignore being harassed? It's not worth losing customers over. People like him have power." Emma nodded, but inside she boiled. She needed this job. But she also had her line. And she wasn't going to let someone like that erase it. She didn't know that the man she just kicked out was Ryan Steele, son of Charles Steele, the billionaire industrialist who really did own half the city. And she didn't know that Charles Steele had just received a very strange phone call from his son. Charles Steele was used to calls from Ryan. Usually about money. Or messes. But this one was different. Ryan was yelling. "Some waitress threw me out. She humiliated me. You need to shut that place down." Charles was quiet. "What did you do?" "Nothing. I was joking." She overreacted. "She threatened to call the cops." Charles didn't believe him. Ryan had a history. A file. A trail of PR disasters. Still, something about this got under his skin. Not the embarrassment. He'd stopped caring what people thought years ago. But this waitress. She didn't cave. Most people did when Ryan flexed his name. He looked up the cafe. A small place near the arts district. He checked his schedule. And then he called his pilot. The sun had set. Emma was mopping the floor when the rumble started. A low chop. Windows rattled. She stepped outside. A helicopter was landing across the street. A man in a dark coat stepped out, tall and sharp-eyed. His walk was slow, controlled. He crossed the street like time bent for him. Everyone in the cafe came to the window. Phones up. Whispering. Emma stayed still as he approached. "You, Emma?" "Yes. I'm Charles Steele." She blinked. "The father?" He nodded. "May I sit?" Emma led him to a corner booth. Her heart raced. The cafe felt 100 degrees hotter. He looked at her. Calm, measured. "I know what my son did. I don't need your apology," she said. "I didn't come to apologize for him. I came to thank you." Emma froze. "Thank me?" Charles leaned in. "Most people let Ryan act the way he does. You didn't. And I need people like that." She didn't know what to say. "I'm just a waitress." Charles smiled slightly. "That's not a weakness. It's your strength." Emma looked down at her chipped nails. "So what do you want?" He glanced around the cafe. "How much do you make here?" She hesitated. "Enough. I'll double it. Triple it. Work for me. I need someone who tells the truth to power. Someone who can handle people like Ryan. Someone fearless." Emma laughed. "You want me to babysit your son?" Charles grinned. "No. I want you to train my staff. My restaurants. My new hospitality brand. I'm rebuilding it. From scratch." She blinked. "You're serious?" He nodded. "And I came in a helicopter. That's how you know I'm not joking." She stared at him. He wasn't just rich. He was aware. Calculated. And oddly respectful. The next morning, Emma packed her apron for the last time. Mr. Harold looked at her like she'd betrayed him. "You're really quitting?" Emma nodded. "You told me to stay quiet. I don't work like that." She walked out. A black car waited. The driver opened the door with a nod. By afternoon, she was in a high-rise office overlooking the entire city. HR paperwork. A corporate badge. A new title, Director of Guest Experience. Emma didn't understand half the corporate terms, but she understood people. Over the weeks that followed, she visited restaurants, trained staff, fired a few managers who thought yelling was leadership. Word spread. The Steele heiress wasn't some MBA grad. She was a waitress with a backbone. And when she met Ryan again, everything changed. Ryan strutted into the boardroom, cocky as ever, until he saw her. Emma. In a blazer. Calm. Not scared. He scoffed. "You again?" She nodded. "Hello, Mr. Steele." He laughed. "This is insane." Charles walked in behind him. "It's happening. Get used to it." Emma spoke calmly. "We'll be working together. If you cross the line again, you'll answer to me. Not your dad." Ryan's smile faded. For the first time, someone had boxed him in. Someone without money, but with something rarer, self-respect. Over the next few months, they clashed. Often. But something shifted. Emma didn't back down. Ryan started listening. Not because he liked her, but because she was right. And slowly, something else crept in, respect. The media caught wind. Headlines exploded. Waitress hired by billionaire after kicking out his son. Charles Steele reforms empire with Café worker. Emma didn't read them. She was too busy working. Her new team called her bossy. Clients loved her. Staff followed her lead. One evening, she got a call. A familiar voice. "Ryan. I'm at the old cafe. You want to meet?" She showed up. He was different. Quieter. Less armor. "I wanted to say, you were right." Emma sat down. "About what?" "Everything." They sat for hours. Talking. No insults. No ego. Maybe a spark. Maybe not. But finally, respect, earned both ways. A year later, Emma stood beside Charles at the opening of the flagship restaurant. Cameras flashed. Ryan stood off to the side, arms crossed, but smiling. Reporters shouted questions. One asked Emma, "What made you take the offer?" She smiled. "Because someone saw me when I refused to be disrespected. And that changed everything." Another asked, "What would you say to other waitresses?" Emma didn't pause. "Don't let anyone treat you like you're invisible. Your voice matters. Even when you think no one's listening." Behind her, the city skyline glowed. From waitress, to leader, to something even more. Respected. Powerful. Heard.